The other thing is, if you have a very steady mouse hand and you select the element, you do have to move to get this to show up. Once you do that and come back and hover over, this should show up. I'm going to go and use my open profile model there to go do my northwest section first here. And it's going to ask me to open a view. I'm going to go use view 8 here. I'm just going to open that on up and left click in there. When I do that, I'm going to notice a couple things. One, I'm going to notice that I get a view that's showing some of that content. That's what I wanted there. Go back. Got a little bit too big there. So I have a view there. Notice some banding here. The view is actually showing me curve and tangent information. So this green banding is telling me where I'm on my curve. The black is where I'm on tangent. If I had spirals in here, I'd get a dark magenta bounding. This element, if I look at the model name, is called a profile int A northwest. So it's actually tied to this object, so I'm going to interact with this profile model. This is an implicit model. It does not occur as a MicroStation model. It's actually just tied to that element. Two final things here. I'll notice that when I have a profile view active, I do get an indicator in the plan view that shows me the direction of the element I'm working with. So I can actually see the direction and know what I'm working with. And finally, a lot of people do like grids in here. This is just my MicroStation view attributes. If I would like to see a grid in here, I can turn that on with my view attributes. So I need to create some vertical information to tie this model to my access road and my urban road. I want to use a couple different tools so we just get some exposure to these. So I'm going to come to my vertical panel on the geometry tab. You can start it under the element profiles with a tool called Profile by Slope from Elements. Real quick, my profile tools are going to ask for different content depending on what view is active. So we're always going to look to our prompt. Usually if my profile view is active, it won't ask me to select an element. If my plan view is active, the first selection will always be to select the element I'm interacting with. We're coming out of our profile view, so we're going to use that profile by slope from element. In this case, it is asking me for the element to profile, so we're going to go select this here. We'll see that it takes that. Whoops, not what I wanted. Hold on. No, that's right. That's right. Got to think as I go here. Don't try even talking and talk at the same time. So that's going to be what I profile. We'll go reset there. I can actually do multiple elements. The reference element is what I'm going to be looking to for vertical information. So first object is going to be out here. I'm going to go and build off of my center line. Did I grab the variable the first time? Or did I grab the slope?
Small cell.
Okay, let's do the variable. My apologies there. Because that's not going to be what I want. Okay, so we're going to go do, there is a prompt here. We're going to do a constant slope. So I'm just going to left click to accept that. If you've got anything else showing, use those up and down arrow keys. So left click there. So we'll reference this one. Here's my reference element, is that center line. That's what I was looking for. So what this is going to do is it's going to take the elevation off of my center line. It's going to go and project it across at some slope I give it, and I can actually do that over just a given distance. I'm going to go and select my distance here to be the end of my curve. So I'm going to go start right here. If you don't get this to move, go and hit the Alt key. That'll toggle a functionality called lock to start. It'll jump all the way down to the start. I'm going to go from about here, and I am going to go to the end of the alignment. We'll see this in a lot of our ORD tools, is this opportunity to hit Alt lock to end or Alt lock to start. This is actually going to find the end of the alignment without me needing to go find it. So by hitting that Alt lock to start, it'll actually jump to the end of the alignment. So there's my locked to the end. Software's just waiting for me to select my end distance. I'm going to left click. My slope here, I'm going to do a -2. Hit tab. And then my offset, if I wanted to move this up and down, I could. If I were actually trying to model a top back curve, I can actually just put on that 1/2 foot right away. We're going to go leave that as 0. when I do that, what I'm going to see down in my profile view is it actually has created an element here now that is the elevation of my center line projected across onto that element. So this is the first item I created. A lot of these tools will actually set this active. We'll talk about active profiles in just a minute. Set this active so I actually now see it in my 3D model. So this is now going to tell me where my elevation needs to be over on the far side here. I need to find a way to find the elevation for my center line. I'm going to show you another tool for that. We're going to use a tool, profile intersection point. The element to show intersection will be my northwest return geometry. And in this case, since I had something selected there, let me clear that out. So we'll select this guy. We're going to locate the element that intersects. I'm actually going to grab that geometry, that edge of pavement line off of my corridor. When I do that, what I see is I actually get a point here. This point is dynamic, which means I can use it as the start point for a line if I want to connect this on over to that. So I get to define what my profile looks like. Let's go build, well, real quick. So when I sampled my access road over here, when I sampled my access road here, right, I get the slope of that. I know I have slope over here, so if I want to build a little bit of information into this and kind of start with that slope, I'm use a tool over on my terrain tab. Under the analysis panel, there's a tool called an analyze point. It's under the symbol analysis, or the points drop down this one. There's an analyze point there. I'm going to select this edge of pavement line really quick. If I come and get close to that intersection point, what I'll notice here is I actually have a slope. So I have a slope available there. This will give me the elevation, or the slope that I can tie to that elevation. So I'm going to do a 292. And this is sloping back down to the west here.
Can't you do a 2% for the first 3 feet?
So can you project this across just like we did the other one?
Yes.
Yes, depending on your version of ORD. So this has worked off and on. It doesn't like that zero elevation or that zero offset. Points. Go select my profile view here, and then I'm going to do a snap to that point that I had. Whoops. My trackball is ready to die on me. It double clicks on me sometimes, which is starting to become a little bit of a problem. Okay, so we're going to go select there. So I snap to that point, and again, I snap to the point because I build a relationship when I do that. And I'm going to get started, and I'm just going to go give myself that 292 we were looking at. So hitting the right arrow key to get over to a slope. I'm going to put in my 2.92. Tab to lock that on in, and then what I'll see is that's going to actually define that elevation for me. Now, real quick, this was a manual effort to define this slope. So if my corridor changes, this is a change I'm going to have to make here. Okay. So as we're running that, I'm going to give this a distance. It doesn't really matter. Do 20 feet, and I'm just going to create a line here. So now what I have done is I've gotten 2 dynamic components here, or semi-dynamic components, that'll tell me where I need to connect. From here, I can come through and design my profile. In the simplest world, right, that can be a profile that just starts here and goes here, just a crest. Our life is never that easy because somebody's going to decide they need a sidewalk passing through here. So if I needed to come in here and build this out, I get full control over this. Here's my little landing, right? Then I'm going to go ahead and come down here. I'm going to get a low point for my roadway or my drainage. I'm going to tie this back up. So I can give full control over the profile here. And that's just creating geometry with the tools here. I want to show you a couple quick ways to help with this. under that, complex geometry dropdown is a tool called Profile Reverse Transition. It's a fantastic tool. It's going to take two elements. It's going to ask me to select a location on them. It will take the slope, then from both of those, and it'll put in a crest, a sag, or a reverse curve for me. So I'm going to go ahead and follow my prompts. I'm going to start the tool, then I'm going to follow my prompts. First element, we'll go grab this line I've created on the left, offset 0. I'm going to lock that on in. Grab this element I've created on the right. Oh, and again, that left, I'm going to have to go buy a new track logger. There's my left, over on the right. I'll put in my 0. Real quick, I don't know why Bentley did this. This tool will start generating preview graphics before it has enough information. Do not panic about this curve, okay? So I'm just going to put in my 0 and hit enter. We go left click. Again, don't know why we're doing this. Don't worry about that element. I'm going to come select my start point. Couple options. I can select the end here. I'm going to go all the way back to the start though. I'm going to select the start of that line for my start location. I'll see then that the graphics are going to refresh. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go all the way to the end on the other side. Trim and extend, we're going to go leave that to none again. And I've now created an element. Now the great thing about this element is it's dynamic, so if my content, starts to move, what I'll see is it's holding on to tangent here, and in this case it's needing to put in a reverse curve. Down here it'll start to do that reverse curve, okay? So again, everything I do when I do my initial design is thinking about how can I modify this app, okay? Yes?
Can you do that again?
Yes,